Alan, thank you so much for coming. We're so happy to have you here. So honored. Thank you for accepting the invitation. So basically, if I do a little summary, you're a general dentist. You graduated in 1983. You practiced dentistry for 35 years. And in 2013, you started gradually consolidating clinics. And in 2021, with the creation of the Clareo group in partnership with Walter Family, which is a Quebec-based family, correct?
Quebec-based family office, yeah, Walter Capital.
So it actually accelerated the process of consolidating clinics, correct?
It gave us the means and the ways to consolidate and do it in a way where it's structurally sound.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And today, Clareo Group has 20 clinics, right?
Today, we have 20.
Amazing. How do you feel today? Like, are you satisfied or do you want more?
There's a song, "Are you satisfied?" I feel very, very, very pleased, and I feel very privileged, proud. Proud, not for myself, but for the whole elements that we've put together and for our profession across the country, but mostly right here in Quebec, that allows us to grow and to get the new blood, the new generation to join in with us and grow our profession.
Wasn't it too challenging for you?
Too challenging?
to bring all this family, like, let's call it that way, all these dentists and bring them around one idea.
My hair used to have the same color as yours. Yes, it's very, very challenging, but you have a dream, you believe in it, and you get up and you get her done.
Amazing. And some of the most impactful actions, usually they happen behind the scenes, right? And usually people don't know about them. They usually see the results. These actions, sometimes there's something behind it. Usually it's a big risk taker who actually decides to take a decision and to move forward, because sometimes the decisions are very scary. I know, and I'm sure you already experienced that kind of situation where you...
Right.
Yeah? So can you tell us more about it? During your career, have you ever experienced that moment where you had to take a big, move on, get out of your comfort zone?
Absolutely. And it's still today. I would call it vertigo. You get vertigo. You start. And people say, well, why did you start? Did you, get in dentistry and then become entrepreneur? And I say, no, I was entrepreneur, and dentistry allowed me to develop my spirit of entrepreneur to the level I wanted. It is not a given every day, but you need to believe in yourself and surround yourself with people that believe in what you do and that move in the same direction. You can collect those, work with them, and those that don't, you need to really decide, emotionless, walk away from those, because they will drag you down.
You have to get away from these people, right?
Yeah. And it's not that they're good or bad people. They're not fitting on where you're at. So if you're doing a gig, everybody's got to play the same tune.
100%. Totally get what you're saying. Usually when we do something in life, it's in human nature. We tend to focus on the gratification, the recognitions we will get after doing this thing. I know that you helped a lot of people, young people. You mentored them. What was your main motivation behind this? Like, deep down, where did you do that? Because you're not getting anything in return. Why would you do that?
I would say my main motivation is, everybody wants to have a récompense. That's normal, but that cannot be the motivation. You will fail. It cannot be money. If money is the motivation, you will fail 100%. It has to be, money is a tool that will allow you to continue search and work that dream and structure it. And then at some time you have to let go of the steering wheel and put people that are better than you around you to help drive that dream. So the motivation is to establish a company, a structure that will live on past your life. I mean, genetically, we're built to have children, grandchildren, And I think for entrepreneur, genetically, we're built to build a business that will stay. That when I'm gone, I'm in Côte des Neiges and permanence, it will still be there with all the results and hopefully the vision and the mission that we've poured into it.
You mentioned family. I like that. What can you tell me about it? In your life, would you say to the young generation they should have a family? Because everyone's like so much focused
Yeah, that
on
is thin ice, man. I'm not skating on that. That's thin ice. No, but I think the best investment you can do in your life.
The best investment in your life is family.
Family. And if you can have a stomach for it, kids, they're great. Except in teenage years, but they come around. But they're, as you get older, where I am as opposed to you, it's marvelous. It's a nice, resting, secure place. So family is ultimate and important. And often it's the reason why we get up in the morning and get out to work through the rain, through the sleet, and just keep at it.
So the main motivation that used to wake you up in the morning before having a family was maybe chasing a dream, having, opening your first business or a clinic or whatever you want. And after you got your family and kids, when you wake up in the morning, the motivation is actually different.
Absolutely. It's day and night. Before it's your own, if you have it, it's your own goal setting where you want to attain what your comfort zone is going to be. And once you have kids, in French, we call it un patrimoine. And a patrimoine takes a long time to build as opposed to money. Money's fast. You and I are going to go work overtime at the shop and we're going to make money. We'll spend it the same night. Patrimoine will take 15, 20, 30 years. And you can pass that on. And that's the change that happened to me when the children came around. Okay, I need to build something sturdy that'll last. I can give.
So you invested, instead of investing money in something, you actually invested your time, which is worthless, in your family or kids, and you see it in return, and you see that investment, call it that way, growing in front of you, and actually you realize that, well, I did something different.
Yeah, give your kids all the opportunities that they can hold on to, and those that they don't want, and don't force it on them, and then watch them go. But in the meantime, you can't forget yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Follow your dream, and if they love it, they'll follow you. You become the anchor. If they don't love it, they'll do their own world, and that's okay too.
I know we all look back and wish that when we were younger, we knew more than what we know now, right? If you had the chance to go back in time and look at yourself, the young guy you were, what would you, would you give yourself an advice, an information, something? I'm not saying to change the future, not changing the destiny, but would you give yourself something else that would change your path, basically?
You can never go back and change anything.
Yeah,
Nothing lives in the past. It's just darkness, and don't drag it out into the light. Just leave it there. I'm 68. I'll be 69 in the autumn. And I realized that most of challenges and most of obstacles that were in my way in my life, I put them there. And they only existed in my head. So what I'm telling myself, if I was to go back, which I can't and I won't, stop, listen, understand, then move. As young Turks, we tend to run fast and then ask questions.
Every young people, I see them, they want to go fast, especially the young generation. And they want instant gratification. This is what I'm seeing the most, every time I see that. And I compare it to the old generation, let's call it that way, or the previous generation. They used to take
that sounds
time.
better. Previous sounds better.
And by the way, I count myself in the old generation.
Okay.
And I'm happy to be.
I don't want to hear what you call me then.
But the thing is, I realized that this generation, and let's say I'm at a transition, I saw that we used to accept spending time understanding things. And the young generation are not doing that at all.
No. And that probably goes back to, how is the supper table set? Was it set with the whole family where you have to sit down and talk and you can't get up off the table because you don't like the discussion. You got to sit it through. So maybe that's one thing the new generation can find. But with the communications and the social networks, it goes so fast you don't even have time to absorb what you're writing and what you're thinking of.
Are you lucky that you actually lived during that time where there was no social media at all?
No, because social media is not all bad. You just need to know how to handle it. Here's an example. So in 1881, 82, in those summers when I was a dental student, I got a job with Ben and Jack at the Miracle Carpet on Sherbrooke Street for 2 summers and a couple of weekends. And after about the 3rd week, they said, we're going to pick you up tomorrow about 6:30. I said, 6:30, like in the morning on a Saturday? I'm a student. What are you talking about? Shop doesn't open till 9. No, 6:30. We're going to Ruby Foods for breakfast. Okay, so I figured they had something to show me. No social medias, right? So we get in the car. They come pick me up, and they go to Ruby Foods. I walk in there. It's La Caverne d'Ali Baba. There's at least 30, 40 businessmen there. Now you use businessmen because that's what it was back then. And now there'll probably be a lot of businesswomen. Coffees, cigars, talking, all about sales, purchases, follow-ups, what can I offer you? What service you got? Benny, what do you got? My brother-in-law's got this. Okay, wow. I said, this is it. This is business. You need to talk. You need to see. You need to touch. You need to be able to go hand to hand. And whether you take it or not, but every Saturday they would talk. Whereas now we do it on the phone. Johnny, you got a deal for me here. Johnny, I need somebody here. So in that time, and I love that, and it's just part of who we are as human beings. We like to interact with other human beings. We like to look at them in the eyes and see how tall they stand or how they slouch when they sit. So that I missed in today's world. Not enough.
Not enough, and especially when COVID hits, remember? We all were on that Zoom thing. We used to do it at the very beginning, like for 2 weeks. It was very funny. It was cool. We used to, drink together through the Zoom. But our brain is not made for that. It's made for interaction, real interaction. Like I need to connect with you, not only just, seeing you through a screen. And I think we realized that when we went back to seeing each other's. And, there's so many people I met through Zoom. When I saw them in real life, I'm like, the energy is different. Like what they're giving you is completely different.
The social behavior after the pandemic changed at all levels. For the clients, for the shop owner, for families. The effort to get your socks on and get out to that party, get out to that meeting is dead or dying or wounded. And we really need to work to get it back up. But some people are so far into that, they're not coming back up to surface. So we need to work with it with what we have. It's good or bad. It is what it is. So let's work with it. But you're right. So the one-on-one takes more time. Do we have more time? That's for each of us to analyze.
But the bright side about the one-on-one, when you see someone physically, face-to-face, Alain, I realized that deals are closed faster.
I would say deals are closed probably 7 times faster.
7 times faster.
I asked my son, he's an economist from Berkeley, and he works in Canada, though, Ottawa U. And I said, how fast do you figure now? How can you measure that? He says that they're about 7 times faster.
What's happening? Like, what is it? Like, is there any more, like, people have more confidence in you when they see you live? Is it the energy you bring them?
The fit is still there. Humans are humans. They gotta have a fit. You gotta slap some skin and be able to talk to each other. And if there's no fit, you walk away from it. Because you're gonna fight your life just to get it to fit, and it's a bad relationship. But it's difficult to bring people now because they're busy. So get them to sit down, put everything off, and let's go sit at a table, have a coffee, and let's see if we can work this together. And if we can, let's move. If we can't, you know what? we just continue on our own route.
We should create a challenge. Challenge to like, are you able to just leave your phone, your computer on the side for a week? I'm not talking about not being able to be reach out or to reach out someone, but not touch your phone at all. I'm sure it would literally change a lot of things in your week and all the decisions you're taking, your relationship with your family, your parents, your friends, at work. A lot of things would change, and I think you would see stuff that you're not able to see because of your screen. Your screen is helping a lot. I agree 100%, but it's stopping you from a lot of things. What do you think about it, Alain?
Well, I think for some people, not touching their phone for a week is like not having oxygen for a week. So we need to allow that, maybe compensate for it. For others, they jump in 2 feet. Yeah, this is cool. Let's do that. Going to the cottages like that. Going to the lake. I mean, you're not going to spend a week without it because we all have Wi-Fi at the lake. But you can spend 2 days and just talk to the fish or the birds, whatever. And then relate back with, I go back to family. But if you don't have a large family, or even if you do and they don't want to go to the lake with you, just to sit down there and think. But maybe it's the age difference. At my age difference, I think more of where I have some downtime in my head. I just want to relate back to things.
You know, when was the best time I realized that it's so amazing to actually be disconnected, literally disconnected from your phone or your computer, is when you're in the plane. And when you have to travel to Europe, when you have to travel on the other side to the United States, for example, South America, South Africa, and you can get Wi-Fi for sure, but sometimes it doesn't work. Like the airplane guys say, okay, today we won't have Wi-Fi, and it's amazing. And you're connected to yourself. You're just between you and yourself or your family, and you realize actually I can survive.
Maybe that's interesting because that lack of communication is imposed. So try it when it's not imposed, and just put it away. But I think we need to start on a week is big. You're gonna get people go cold turkey, and alcoholism will go up and other things. But I think it's a good trial to do that, and with our first people that we trust. Yeah, let's do a Saturday, no phone. Or no screen.
I think I was very much ambitious by saying 1 week. I would say 24 hours.
Yeah.
Try 24 hours.
Start that. See if you're still married after 24 hours.
That's true. And I have one last question for you. Okay. It's a special question. Very interesting question. I usually ask it to a lot of people. If you had the chance to spend 1 hour, just 1 hour, with any person on the planet, can be alive, can be out of this world, can be famous, not famous, whatever you want. You pick up whoever you want. Who would you choose? I want to not ask you why, but let's say why would you choose this person? Yeah,
I've got a couple. I've got a couple in my head, but a few of them. 3 or 4, but I would choose my grandfather. He was just an anonymous person that was there, always willing to listen, even though he's very busy as a businessman, took time with his grandchild to listen, even at the age of 6. What's your dreams? What do you want to do? What do you need? And now as an adult, because he passed away way too quickly as they did in that generation, I'd love to sit down with him and say, okay, what's your background? How did you develop that? There's no online apps for grandparents. So that's who I'd say.
Did he leave something for you? Anything written to you, a letter?
Oh, I've got some of his old speeches that I just love rereading those. And he's got these little shot glasses, metal in a leather case that he'd take when he'd travel, and he'd fly off in those DC-6 off to Europe and back. So every now and again with my wife, we'll take one out at the end of the day, do a little shot of something in that just to remember, oh, Granddad, Wolf, they call him. And it just brings back that we're all here for limited time. So how do you want to be remembered?
Interesting. Saying that if you had the chance, Alain, to actually live forever, would you say yes?
With who? Whoa, I don't know. I wouldn't want to have to bury all my kids and my grandkids. No, I'll do the time I've got here. Even now, I think I've got great time. So
I'm saying that to you because the fact that we know that everyone has an end at one point, and a lot of people not realizing that they think they're here forever. At least you have your motivation is even higher to get to to achieve your goals. Because if you knew you had a lot of time, plenty of time, you would take a lot of time. You would never accomplish anything. So I think this thing is very important. We don't realize it. That's why you see people chasing stuff. And sometimes they're not chasing the right thing, by the way. They're, and we can say we.
Il y a un dosage à faire. Yes, there's a limited time. Do I have an hour? I could have an hour. Maybe going back to the train station, I'll fall down a manhole. I don't know. Or maybe I've got 10 years. Maybe I've got 30 years. Factor in there what quality of life for those years. So how much can I continue pushing this dream? For how long? Reality is that's more limited. I might live physically longer, but have the strength and the links and the connections to keep moving. It's going to get heavier and heavier. So you're right. Knowing that you are a limited time, make the most of it. And again, make sure that you accompany and help others, because your generation has different dreams than ours, and the other generation after you has different dreams. So we have to acknowledge those and give you the tools you need, Romeo, as you're doing now, to move on with your dreams and build a society and build the culture that we live in.
Noted. Okay, Alain, thank you so much for taking the time. It's very interesting. Would you like to add anything else? Something you would think about, something like you would, something that would be interesting to the young generation, especially the young generation who would like to jump into this big, jungle of, I would say, call it jungle because it's a jungle, honestly.
It's a rumble in the jungle.
Literally. What would you give, let's say you want to say one simple sentence just to tell them, okay, be positive, don't be scared, go ahead. And I heard that one guy who one time said, it's when you feel the most scary that you have to jump.
Especially if there's a bear chasing you.
Especially.
No, I would, and I hear what you're telling me, and I love talking to the younger generations. And what I always tell them when I talk to the students at the universities, I tell them, fais-toi confiance. Be confident in yourself, whether male or female. We lack it. We need to understand where our barriers are, work within them, our perimeters, and fais-toi confiance. And I had an old preacher friend of mine who used to say, Al, be on your side, not on your case. Too many people want to be on your case. So be on your side every day.
I think it's important to tell when you have a kid. I heard about that the other day. It's like between, I think, 0 and 7 years old, you should give your kid as much confidence as you can, because this is going to change their whole life.
Yeah, I agree. All within protecting his confidence. Because if he's watched a Superman movie, he might think he can fly out the second floor window. But just by protecting them. Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely. Try it. Never put your head underwater. Go ahead. Put it.
It's crazy how much the words of parents can influence their kids' future, actually.
Very much so. Parents and close people. Or sometimes people we don't even know. John F. Kennedy and others. They've influenced thousands of people, millions.
Amazing.
Churchill. We can go on all afternoon naming people that influenced.
Or God influenced.
That too.
Yeah. You know how it happened to Hitler. that guy become like a demonic guy. He wanted to get into school of the Beaux-Arts. He got rejected. This guy wanted just to be an artist. The teacher said, "No, man, you're a loser." He got hit, and look what he did.
Yeah. Well, there might have been some underlying pathology
Of course,
also.
100%. But it influenced a lot, the guy.
And so that's a good point, Romeo. We all influence somebody. So when we state something on somebody, let's make sure we're honest about it and just.
And I think, tell me what you think about it. I think in anything that we do in life, we have to do it with our background in our head. It has to bring love, help other. And you don't have to wait for anything in return. I think we're all connected. This is how I see things. And I think the more you help people and the more you're doing something for the humanity, actually, not for yourself, because at one point you're doing it for yourself because it's going to come back with your kids, your family, anything. But I think the most important is like whenever you do something and whenever you teach someone or you try to, let's say, mentor someone or try to help someone if they need help, do it without expecting anything in return and do it with love.
Yep. Do it freely. I agree. And it will come back. It will come back. And if you don't, it's going to come back and bite you.
Let's not get bited.
No, but and then it becomes habitual. You will see the results. So every time that you're helping somebody and you don't expect anything in return, out of the blue, left field, something really nice comes in. I say, wow, this is cool. Let's do it again. So you never know. It's like a petit cadeau. It just drops out. And then your environment becomes used to your behavior. So they will trust Romeo because you can turn your back. He's not going to stab you. You can walk away. He's going to lead you back. You can, and then your whole environment understands what you're made of. And those that understand it will stay, and those that despise it will leave. Good enough.
I think it's very hard. So nowadays it's very hard. I barely see people being very genuine, because they're trying to build that, in French we call it carapace, they put something, a shield, can we call it that way?
Right, an armure.
Yeah, armure. And they just don't want to people to get, to hurt them actually. And because of that, they're not being themselves.
Do you think that social media has a play in that? Because you can get hurt with social media without even knowing it. So people now have put on an armure to protect at all sides, at all times, maybe. Whereas before, if just 5 guys in the village and one guy doesn't like the other guy, you'll know it fast enough. Whereas now you don't know it. But on social media, all of a sudden you find out that, a dozen guys want your head on a plate. So I think then you get into protective mode, or even it can be pathological. So yeah, I think that's part of it. The more we can put some of that down and talk more face to face, it'll be clearer.
I think it's very important to do that. And I'm sure that social media doesn't help doing it. If you got the chance, and so many times it happened to me, honestly, so many times I try to, for example, let's say I try to solve something with someone through a phone, through message, through emails. Doesn't work. When I meet the person and I just tell them genuinely what I'm thinking about the situation, man, one click, it's solved right away.
So you see how animals react. A lot of it is just their positioning, body language. We don't have that on the screen. We're talking, and if we're sitting like this, we're pretty relaxed. But if we were up on edge and we're angled at each other, you'd say, well, okay, he's saying something, but his body's saying something else. So that whole aspect of body language is non-existent on the screen. So it's a lot easier to tell somebody you love them or to take a walk on a screen than it is face-to-face. Face-to-face, it demands more effort, more sincerity, either way. And then you got to be able to breathe through it and stand up. Because sometimes you're saying things and your legs are going. But if you're standing up, it'll show. If you're in a screen, it's not going to show. It's got to be truthful. And that's part of the challenge and the fun. And I'll say the fun of talking to people, of negotiating, of getting some thoughts around. And
I remember that in the past, not too long ago, sorry, we used to see that people, there was no contracts. There was a handshake.
sure, yeah,
What happened? And I mean, what happened? Like there was a lot of lawsuits. That's why, and people had to protect themselves. But, and you know what I mean? It's like,
as a society grows and we expand and we lose that proximity between each other. I mean, when we lived all in the same village or in the same neighborhood, or it was easy. But now, if you're living in Toronto, I'm living in Vancouver, and we agree on something, we don't talk every day. And we started at this distance, and now we're a mile apart. So we don't have anything written. We're going to forget. And you're right, litigation is everywhere. So it's part of the process. We just need to work with it.
do you think, Alain, from all your experience and all the people you met, do you think there is good in any human?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And just on a contracts, what it does, it makes it clear. So at least that's a big benefit. It's really clear. You want red, I want blue. Good, we agree to that. Good people, we're surrounded by good people. We're sometimes surrounded by bad ideas that are taken up by good people, and that changes their behavior. I think basically most people are good, basically.
Sometimes I think, how I think everyone deep down has something good, like deep down. I always think about that bad guy, that politician who took a bad decision for his people and everything. And I'm like, this guy was a kid one day, right? And I'm sure, he didn't get all this social pressure around him. The only thing he had was his mother doing food for him, or, this nice dessert that he loved. And I try to imagine that bad guy, smiling or even crying in front of his mother. And I'm like, this guy, I'm sure deep down he has something amazing, but it's now hidden, or he's not showing it anymore. Or he lost maybe. Yeah. So, that's why I think deep down, if you go if you search, you're going to find something.
There's a word in French that I appreciate a lot. It's called discernement. Every time you make a judgment, every time you make a decision, you need to use your discernement. Is this the correct thing to do? Am I doing good? Am I doing bad? And if you're doing bad, are you aware you're doing it and you want to go ahead and do it? Then that's your decision. But you need to take that time and differentiate. Good or bad? Is it going to help? Is it going to harm? And sometimes you need to let something go, even at a profit to yourself. I'd rather keep it, but I better let this go. And when you do that, that always comes back the other way. Mm. Or somebody will send something really nice your way. I believe that, but that's me.
Have you experienced that?
Often. And I've noticed that those that go the other route, that always take for them, as they get older, it concentrates and they get less and less attractive as a person. But when you give, look at your great aunt. She's always given all her life. She's 90. She's still smiling. She sees you. She thinks you're the best thing since sliced bread. As she gets older, she's concentrating on his appreciation, on his love, on his sharing. And I think that's how we're built that way. So you just keep moving in the direction you're comfortable in, and you will blossom as a grandpa. If you're old and angry, you're just going to be an old and angry, grumpy old guy.
Can we call that wisdom?
I call it wisdom, call it being lucky to live long enough to see it.
Nice way to say it. The other day I was in Greece. When we were in, these countries, if you work in France, if you work in Europe, if you work in the United States, Canada, Australia, these big cities where there's a lot of business, you're always focused so much and you don't think about simple stuff. So I was in Greece, and I passed next to a shop of a guy who was selling, these basic stuff like ice creams, coffee. And I looked at him. He was sitting on a plastic chair, very common for Mediterraneans. They sit on a plastic chair. And I saw him smiling, and he seemed so happy. And he had this little boutique, And I'm like, man.
Sure, he's in his zone.
Yeah. I feel like, man, if you drop everything, you do the same thing as him. He's sitting there so happy. There's barely no one getting into his shop, but he's like sitting there, sound of the sea, smell of the fish and everything. And he's like, he seems so happy, man, much happier than so many people in these big cities that I call the business cities.
Because he's in his zone. You need to know, you want to take that further, have a coffee or an ice cream with him and ask him where he comes from. What's his background? What did he live through? Civil War, or just a beautiful, lovely life all his life, and he's never had a worry either way. But it helps to understand. And then their head frame, okay, how do you focus it on this angle all the time, which is difficult. I mean, just take Highway 20 at 4 in the afternoon, and you're going to focus on something else.
It takes me back to this little joke, Alain, and I'm going to end up with this. It's like there's two guys sitting. One of them is fishing, but relaxing, fishing. There's that one guy who comes and says to him, how long have you been fishing? You just got 3 fish. He's like, yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm chilling. I've been there since this morning. And he's like, you know what? If you develop this, you can buy a machine, okay? And actually you can get more fishes. And then the guy is still waiting like this, and he's like, okay, next. And he's like, okay, after that, you develop and you create, a big market for it. So you start selling for a lot of people, a lot of shops, these fish you're getting. The guy's still waiting, okay, and then, the guy said, then you grow, you develop in different cities, you become major in the country. It's like, okay, and then he says, then you get a lot of money and you're going to be very happy. You're going to have a lot of houses, you're going to have a cottage. And the guy's like, okay, and then, man, you're going to sit, you're going to chill, relax. And he's like, I'm going to fish. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Right. I'm doing it now.
I'm doing it now, man. Why is it so complicated?
Beautiful, That's absolutely it. We're doing it now. So, running after that brass ring is dangerous. You'll forget where you're from. Mm-hmm. When you're young, I think you can do that. When you hear those footsteps coming on behind you, you might want to just sit there and fish.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Anyways, Alain, thank you so much. I really liked doing this podcast with you. Very interesting, and I think you have a lot of things to bring for this new generation. That's why I wanted to ask you, because I'm the kind of person who like learning a lot. I think we never stop learning, never.
Romeo, from the first time I met you, you've always been an intriguing person. You've got your thoughts, you have your dreams, you have them structured, and you go piecemeal by piecemeal. So I'm going to congratulate you. That's why when you phoned me and you said you want to come out and do podcasts, I said absolutely. Because you're a young generation who can show and lead and not be afraid to believe what they believe in, and you're honest. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Salut.